Last week on Pokemon Cooked League, the Heatran of Justice was dealt a great injustice with getting double full power from the Sinister Sinistras, while Woman lost a half monotype war against the Landorus dating simulator. Will Karma smile back on the Heatran of Justice today, or will Woman fight for their equal opportunity? Welcome to match 2 of week 3. We have the Heatran of Justice versus Women, and I think the game plan is going to be the use of Chien-Pao versus ways to dealing with Chien-Pao. Chien-Pao outspeeds everything naturally, except like if you want to boost your speed, your Iron Treads, it can outspeed that. But the Dark Stab is just kind of like a pain in the ass to get around. There's no easy switch in for Dark Stab. Everything is super effective neutral at least in multiple super effective targets. And there's going to be you're going to have to find out ways to deal with Chien-Pao if you are women here. You definitely have tools at your disposal. Maybe there's booster speed. Oh my gosh, Iron Treads. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Choice Scarf Arcanine. You get the Intimidate down, which decreases your attack, and the Choice Scarf Rock Slide can do good damage, or I don't know. I don't think it would KO, but it would come close. Or like a Flare Blitz to blow things up. Or you have Trick Room setters like a Slowbro here. So definitely ways to go around it. And then, let's see, on the other side, what do I think is the most important here? I do think maybe it's the Iron Treads here. With the Steel Ground typing here is actually really threatening offensively. Steel hits the Minior, hits the Chien-Pao. And then ground hits the Heatran, it hits the Mach, it hits the Raichu, and then it only hits the Zoroark, at least for neutrally, but that's more than enough to threaten 2-hit on Zoroark's poor bulk here. So I imagine that we're going to see some sort of speed control in the lead, either a Choice Scarf Mon or a Booster Speed Mon, or an opposite way of speed control going the other way, and then I expect Chien-Pao to be in the back for now, so maybe lead off with Heatran or something. I think Chien-Pao is maybe too valuable to just lead out, and it can go wrong, and saving it for when the time is right could be very important here. And here we have the 2 Psychic types in the lead here. The Alolan Mach also in a very good position here to just threaten good damage here. Alolan Mach's only weak to ground, and so that's really nice here, and you dodge the Iron Treads lead, so it feels pretty safe here. The main thing you have to worry about is probably getting Scald Burned, so that can be kind of annoying, but just clicking knockoff here is a pretty safe thing to do. Okay, I just wanted to click the play just to make sure there was no items that were going to proc here. And then Alolan Raichu, it cannot fake out because Psychic Terrain is up, so don't do that. But maybe this is some sort of helping hand on the Raichu here, I think Raichu gets helping hand. I could be wrong, but just some way to support. I don't think Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt does hit the Slowbro for super effective, but I don't expect that to it's probably gonna do 65-70%. Raichu is just not that strong here.
Oh my god, bro. Oh,
hell, man. And sometimes it is not Alolan Raichu. Sometimes it is the jump scare of Hisuian Zoroark. Goes for Bitter Malice, but the Follow Me just makes you immune to all Ghost type moves. So you're immune to the Ghost type moves here. So that didn't work out at all. Knocking off a Eject Button is pretty funny here. Prevents it from actually proccing. But I think the Indeedee is relatively okay with being on the field here. It's not offensively threatening, but it is fairly slow. It can be still annoying with support with Follow Me here. But it seems we're not doing Follow Me here as I accidentally see a bit of the Scald. Oh, and we do get the burn here. That's pretty big. Yeah, the expanding force. Well, it still did a decent amount of damage for being -1. And we do see the Dark Pulse going with the Hisuian Zoroark here. So you have other ways to hit the Psychic types here, which is definitely a good tool to have. I kind of liked... Leading off with Snarl, I think might have been better. I mean, if you weren't... I guess he wasn't expecting Follow Me here, which is kind of... Which is, like, kind of fair. Because, you know, you can just KO the Slowbro on turn 1. And if you're able to do that, then you're in a great spot because now there's no more Trick Room and you're up 'em on. Yeah, I think Snarl was a little bit safer here. Just removing the damage output, but at the same time, it also would have procced a Jetpack, and then he could have switched into the Vicable, which would have been scary. So maybe Knockoff was just the best move here. The burn here is a pretty big deal, obviously. Cutting your physical damage output by so much here. And because the Indeedee is now fainted, it means you get to switch into whatever you want, and that is either going to be the Vicable or the Araquanid, because it's the only monster actually slow on left on his team. Oh, and it's Iron Treads with Trick Room. You know, that's definitely a shock on paper here, but the ground typing is just, again, it's just such a clickable like attacks to do here, the ground and steel typing. So, and it's also not being threatened by like a burned Muck and the Hisuian Zoroark here. So I definitely kind of get it. It depends on what the other moves for the Zoroark are. It could be it gets Will-O-Wisp. There's also Icy Wind. We already seen 2 attacks, so I imagine it's probably like a support move and Protect if I had to make a guess here. And you have to find a way to get around the Slowbro with speed control here and the Iron Treads, which you don't easily threaten to really do anything to. Like, what's stopping like a steel type movement to Zoroark? Or like, there's something that stops the ground type movement to Malone and Muck, but Malone and Muck looks not that threatening as of right now because, you know, it's burned. Okay, so we decided to take a turn to just double protect here. Just trying to stall at the Trick Room. And that is another benefit of the Iron Treads, is that if the Trick Room successfully gets stalled out, then you actually have a fairly fast Pokemon to cover yourself, and you're not just like kind of left like kind of these monsters that just can't do anything because they're just threatening to die here. But goes into Vikavolt on with the Earthquake. I think that's a very safe call here. The Earthquake threatened. It might have KO'd both, or might have not. I can't really tell. I don't know these calcs very well. But, you know, the Vikavolt gives you extra cover. Gives you also an out against things like the Minior here. So, like, oh, you switch into, like, the only thing that, like, is good against Earthquake. Now I have the Thunderbolt to do great damage here. And then the Earthquake is just so spammable against everything on the field here. So this Earthquake is going to be a real pain in the ass if you don't have something for it. And because we double protected, if you were like a burn move on the Hisuian Zoroark Will-O-Wisp, now that doesn't really work because you might just be getting thunderbolted here out of your life away. Uh-oh. I am a little worried about this. Oh, we're disquaking. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that did so much. Oh, Jesus. Knock off. Okay, so we do know that it's weakness policy here. Well, it was, so definitely tried to was probably thinking about doing some own procs technology with like maybe like Slowbro or something. But yeah, the weakness policy is now gone, and it is last turn of Trick Room. You could double protect here if they both have protect. I mean, there's no point in protecting with a Muck here because of it's just gonna die to the burn. So, you know, at the end of this turn, it's gonna be a low HP Minior. against the Vikavolt, which is going to be the slowest thing on the field, and then whatever you send out. And what do you have against Iron Treads now? I don't know. You don't have an easy way to threaten Iron Treads here. The Chien-Pao, if you're like, Sacred Sword could do good damage, but not enough to KO. If you're a Band-Aid or something with like a big damage-boosting item with Chien-Pao, maybe you can get there, but I just don't think you have the offensive firepower to take out this Iron Treads, and it's going to cause a lot more. It's going to get worse before he gets better here. Again, there's no reason to protect the Muck here. It's not going to matter because it's probably just when you clicking Disquake, so who cares? Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Except if you had, like, Shadow Sneak as one of your moves here, but no, I highlight that. So now that the Psychic Terrain and the, what's it called? It's gone. The Trick Room's gone. We are now back to normal speed order. Maybe you can bring out the Zoroark now and do something, but geez, Zoroark hits kind of hard, but not like super hard. And maybe if you're like, if you're Air Balloon Heatran, I don't think it is, but if it's that, this could be pretty good here. And here comes the Chien-Pao here with its Sword of Ruin, decreasing defensive things. The Minior Shields Down ability will unproc this turn with whatever move he decides to do here. So like, what are we doing? Rock type moving the Vikavolt here to try to KO it, and then lead the Iron Treads. I think I'd rather just try to double the Iron Treads and try to call it a Protect here to try to get back in this game. That's what my instinct is telling me to do here. Because like the Rock move into the into Vikavolt just feels like so obvious, and I just really think this Iron Tread needs to go like before any more damage happens, or else I'm struggling to think of a way to win the game if you are the Heatran of Justice here. That Ice Spinner did okay damage, or we can go for a Rock Slide Flinch. That's always an out. Respond did not get flinched. Oh, but we did get one flinch on the Vikavolt here, and the Ice Spinner. The first Ice Spinner was not enough to, looks like another Ice Spinner won't be enough to KO Iron Treads, but if you're Sacred Sword, that could be enough to do it. The problem is that you're down to 4 Mons here. Well, maybe your 4 can get there. I don't think you're in a terrible spot. I think, it's the Arcanine's a bit scary, and it's just like, I don't think Raichu's going to be able to KO Araquanid in one hit. I'd be kind of surprised. So that's also a bit concerning here, but if you're like Sacred Sword on the on your Chien-Pao house here, Sacred Sword plus Psychic type move on the Raichu with a Psychic type move on the Raichu can pick up the double KO here, and then you're up to 3 to 5 here. But how are you going to do it with those last 3, especially when your Chien-Pao is intimidated and the Slowbro and the other 2 Mons are very healthy here. Oh, it's Zoroark again. Okay, it does get the KO here. Okay, so different ways to get the same result here. I'm just trying to think if I'd prefer the Raichu being out or the lone Zoroark being out. You get the double KO. You're definitely more prepared for the Slowbro here, which is with the more super effective damage. And you are probably a bit worse. You're definitely worse against the Araquanid, but again, I don't think you're OHKOing the Araquanid anyway, so you need to get Chip on it first, so I do think this order makes a lot of sense here. And I think this Arcanine item can be very important on who wins this game. If it's Choice Scarf, that's pretty big. If you're Choice Scarf, that's big because you can Rock Slide can KO the Chien-Pao here. If you're Choice Band, that's also pretty big because Choice Band Extreme Speed, I would imagine I have to imagine KO's Chien-Pao. So if you have a way of this Arcanine to KO the Chien-Pao before it can attack, I think that would be enough to be in a strong position to win this game here. Ooh. Oh, that's a lot of damage for that crit here. We are Citrus Berry, and setting out the Alolan Raichu to take a hit here, kind of feels bad, because I think you might have been able to live one bag type move from Araquanid because it's not that strong here. It's not a strong attacker when it's not clicking water moves, so that kind of stinks. But you were able to protect your Chien-Pao here and undo the Intimidate, which is definitely something that is worth considering here. And now you can bring the Chien-Pao back. I would imagine the Chien-Pao's coming back here. Yep. And can you KO Hisuian Arcanine with a Crunch or something? I think it depends on how each of these mons are trained. And I don't think the Thunderbolt is going to KO the Araquanid here. So, I do wonder if you're in a position where you should actually double the Arcanine here to just make sure it KOs if it doesn't. I also don't mind double protecting here because you're the one with the speed control. So if you can try to bait out a protect here, you win the protect wars if you do double protect on that matter. So yeah, I think that's logical. And this is a very close one here. And we are double protecting, trying to catch another protect. And Woman just does not care, just keeps on clicking attacks here. So, probably you didn't get any information, and you know that, and now you have to make a play here. And I think your best bet is trying to KO Arcanine. I think it's the scarier mon. If you KO the Arcanine, oh jeez, but then if the Raichu goes down, then Araquanid becomes a big problem against the Heatran. It's tough, man. This is tough. I think this turn decides the game here. Sucker Punch, does get the KO, and here comes a big Thunderbolt. Big was a vastly exaggerated word, making me think that this is a Assault Vest, which Assault Vest is, I think, gonna win the game here. I think Liquidation and Leech Life are. And I don't think the Heatran and the Alolan Raichu could even win the 2v1 here, seeing how well that took a super effective stab move here, and Heatran only has moves that are resisted. So we'll see if there's any tricks up the sleeve, but I highly doubt it here. Okay, the trick is scamming, which is fair. Let's see, I think you just have to. Yeah, I think scamming is your best way out here, seeing how pitiful this damage is. Heat Wave, yeah, that did 10. Are we going to get a full paralysis here? No. And at this point, the Slowbro can just beat the Heatran anyway, so the Araquanid, even if it gets full parried every time, oh my god, should be fine. And yep, that's going to do it. That was a close game. That was a really good. I enjoyed watching that game. I think the Assault Vest on the Araquanid was a genius tech here. That was game winning. And if it's not Assault Vest, then I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm pretty sure that's Assault Vest. The Iron Treads was definitely a big pain in the ass and put some on pressure early with just clicking Earthquake, which had no switch-ins besides the Minior, which got covered by Discharge. So, good fundamental, reliable game plan for women here. And congrats to them. And that's going to do it for me. Hope you enjoyed. See you soon.